Hey, what's up guys? It's Marf and welcome back to another Asphalt 9 video. Today we got the patch notes for the Festive, Sparks, and Dragon Race seasons. So I'm going to cover all of the new events, the new cars, and yes, new features that are coming with this update in this video. So stick around because we do have a ton to go over, which is really exciting. Of course, I will link the patch notes in the description down below if you want to take a read for yourself, but let's get started with the new cars. First up, we have the Legend Pass car that will be for both seasons. This is the Lamborghini Invincible, which, to be perfectly honest with you guys, I had no idea this car existed up until I saw the patch notes. Of course, all of the new news around Lamborghini is around the Revuelto, so this is quite surprising to see a Lamborghini that I didn't know actually existed. Now, this is going to be a B-class car, but surprisingly a quite high ranked one. Not anything crazy like a King, but it should be around the Apollo N area, so quite a decent Legend Pass car this time around, so I'm glad to see that. And as you can see, as with a lot of the recent cars, this car has some nutty acceleration, pretty good handling, and nitro efficiency as well. Next up, we have the long-awaited DEVEL 16, and as you can see, the top speed on this guy is absolutely crazy. Now, if you want that kilometers per hour in cheeseburgers per french fry, that's around 352 miles per hour. That makes this car unequivocally the fastest car in Asphalt 9. So this is going to be a well sought after car, and anyone who gets this is going to dominate in Ghost Slipstream Legend League multiplayer especially. But it does have pretty good acceleration as well, but look at that nitro efficiency. That is where this car's weak spot is, but nonetheless, I'm excited to finally see the DEVEL 16 in this game. Next up, we also have a very significant car. This is the Ferrari 296 GTB. I believe this is their first mass production hybrid car, if I'm not mistaken, and this has a pretty respectable rank of 4009 in C-Class. I don't think it's particularly amazing, but you can see for its class, acceleration is okay, handling is decent, nitro is not really that good, so I don't really know how useful this car will be, to be honest, but it's nice to see that the GTB, or the 296 GTB, is finally in Asphalt 9. Next up, we have an absolutely stunning design by Zagato. Once again, this is the DBS GT from Aston Martin, and it's quite a honestly not great ranked A-class car at just above 4,100, so not anything nuts like you can see with that rank, but it does have some respectable stats except for top speed, so this is going to be definitely one of those more agile, more multiplayer focused car. I can imagine it could be quite decent in Classic League, but don't expect to be winning every single race with this car. Next up, we have a much higher ranked A-class car. This is the Ford Team Fordzilla P1. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I have no idea what's up with this car. I heard about it being added to Asphalt 8, and I just didn't want to do research about this car because it looks so wacky. I had no idea Ford was even doing something like this. So yeah, I don't know what's up with this car, but it's very high ranked in A-Class. As you can see, the acceleration is pretty good. Top speed is also quite decent, I guess. This car's strong suit is definitely the top speed and acceleration, and so this would be a pretty good A-Class car for Ghost Slipstream. And lastly, you've got to have one of those lower ranked cars in each update, and this one is the Mercedes-Benz 2022 show car Vision AMG. And it's kind of odd that they're just naming this the show car, or I assume Mercedes is the one naming this type of car, because for me that makes it a little weird. Like, I don't really want to drive a car that specifically won't be made. I understand a concept car, but this is a show car, so I don't really know exactly what the differences are, but it makes the name make it feel less important, if you know what I mean. But either way, it's not going to be that important for the broader scope of the game because it is quite low in C-Class, but as we will get into later, it will be important for some events. Now, before we get into those events, I want to talk about the new track. This is Norway, and I revealed it to you guys, I believe, about a week or so ago. We only got pictures, we didn't get a confirmation of where it was, but some people did guess correctly, and Norway it is. So I'm very excited to explore more about this track. We still only have those screenshots to go off of, but I'm really excited to see if this is going to be a top speed focused track. So I told you guys that eventually we will get into the events, and here are the list of events. So for this first season, we are going to have the Aston Martin Valhalla concept car coming back in a special event. And we're also going to have an event featuring all of the Lamborghini Aventadors, which is actually quite awesome. So that'll of course include the SVJ Roadster, SV Coupe, and Aventador J. Now this next event is actually really exciting. You guys know that I really love Coden. He's one of the head mods and community managers for Asphalt 9, and he's having his own themed event, and this is going to feature the Agera RS. Now that is the Clash Store exclusive Koenigsegg for you guys out there, and so to see it outside of the Clash Store is quite awesome, so we'll definitely see it more in multiplayer after that, and it's fun to see that we got events featuring Coden, and so hopefully in the future we'll see some more events featuring some of the Asphalt 9 team members. The Pininfarina Battista is also coming back in its own special event, so not just an Unleashed, which is quite cool, and we are going to have, of course, a bunch of car hunts, including the Taycan Turbo S, Aston Martin Victor, the Porsche 911 GT1 Evolution, the Puritalia Berlinetta, the Draco GTE, and the Aston Martin Vantage GT12. Now, we do have a special hunt, which will be the Ultima RS. I don't know if they're trying to just make it sound more special than it is, because the Ultima RS is a very good car, don't get me wrong, but I also don't know if they're trying to say that it will work any differently compared to a normal car hunt. And lastly, we will have a community voted car hunt, and that will be for the Continental GT Speed, which I'm actually very excited to unlock. Of course, we will have a return car for the Starway event, and this time around it is the McLaren Speedtail, and the Porsche 935 is back for its Grand Prix. Next up is something unexpected and something I'm very excited about, and this is a new gameplay mechanic. I've been asking for more of these, and I'm so excited to see one being added finally, and this one is called Breakthrough. So going off their description, it says we're introducing a new gameplay mechanic, Breakthrough. Starting this update, you might encounter special objects that can only be broken by performing a shockwave or a 360. These special breakables will initially appear in the new Norway tracks and in certain game modes throughout the festive Sparks and Dragon Race season. So I'm going to put the picture up on screen so you guys can see a bit more. Obviously this car is about to do a 360 and it's going to crash into that gate that is in purple. So hopefully there will be some highlighted objects and maybe some different paths that you can unlock by breaking that object. So this is a bit similar to, if you remember in Asphalt Extreme, we had some breakable barriers that only monster trucks and heavy vehicles could go through. Obviously those could just smash right into it, but here it seems like all cars can go through it as long as you're doing a 360 or you are in shockwave. So I'm very interested to see how the design of Norway sort of ties into this mechanic, and hopefully we will get to see some more game modes and different events that feature this mechanic in other tracks as well. Speaking of another feature that might have those mechanics, we have Treasure Hunt. So for 20 days starting from the festive Sparks season until January 1st, a gift will appear on different tracks, and as you can see from the picture, it seems like they will have a breakable object like a gift, and you can drive through it, or I assume 360 through it, and that will give you a little reward. Next up, we have yet another feature, which is awesome. This is going to be called a sponsorship. So starting this season, sponsorships will appear and you will get offered some contracts and you will get to decide which one you agree with. And fulfilling these contracts will give you some rewards, and in order to fulfill those contracts, it will be logging in for a certain amount of days. So a lot of people have been asking for daily login rewards for a very long time, and this seems exactly that. And what's really nice is that you get to choose your own sponsorship, which means you get to choose your own reward. And as always, this winter we will be getting the next Drive Syndicate, and this time it is Drive Syndicate 8 Future Sparks. So for this Drive Syndicate, of course, the featured track will be in Norway, and there will be, of course, different chapters and events that you have to go through. This time around, the exclusive car at the very top will be the DEVEL 16. I'm not sure if I should pronounce it Devil or DEVEL, but who cares? So yeah, that is going to be the featured car for this update, which makes sense. I mean, it is the new high top speed king, but the support cars for this Drive Syndicate will be the Mercedes-Benz 2022 Show Car Vision AMG that we talked about before, and the Aston Martin DBS GT Zagato that I also mentioned before. So those cars will be available during this period. I don't know if they're talking about that it will be available broadly throughout the game, or if they will specifically be included in the Drive Syndicate. Now, the showroom will also be updated with some new featured cars, including the Honda Civic Type R, Bolwell MKX Nagari 500, the Renault Trezor, and the Aston Martin V12 Speedster. All of what I talked about just then is going to be in the first season, or at least featured in the first season for the Festive Sparks. Of course, all of those features are still going to be available moving on, but all of the events I talked about are going to be in that first season. For the second season, which is the Dragon Race season, we will have a bunch of new events. So firstly, we will have a funk event. Apparently that's this new music trend that's been going around on like TikTok and Instagram or whatever. I don't really know what this is all about, but I'm curious to find out. So there will be an event that I will talk about a bit more later on in this video that will be featured around this sort of funk type music. So in terms of the events, we are going to have some events featuring the W motors like in Hypersport, Apex AP0, and the Vanda Electric's Dendrobium. There will also be an event for the GTR 50 Ital design, which is awesome because I know a lot of people have been wanting that car for a while. And there will be a special dedicated event for the Jaguar XJ220S TWR. Now I know you guys have been waiting for me to talk about the 296 GTB and how you can unlock it, and that will be for a Grand Prix, so that's pretty cool. So you should be able to get this car at least for free, or at least some of you guys who qualify and win the key. But it's nice to see that one of the cars in this update will be a Grand Prix car. And for the second season, the car hunts will be the Glickenhaus 004C, the Porsche 718 Cayman GT4, and the Bugatti EB110, along with the Apollo IE, which is great. So hopefully I can get that car during that event. And the featured Starway event for this second season will be the Huracan Evo Spider. So going back to that funk themed event, that will actually be the featured event for the Team Fordzilla P1. So I'm not exactly sure how this will work. Maybe it'll just be a big special event with a funk feature around it rather than, you know, a whole separate thing like we've seen with the test drive or the Drive Syndicate stuff. I think this will be just a featured special event. So it will feature some different music as well as, of course, the Team Fordzilla P1. So along with some bug fixes and some other small changes, and of course all of the different things that come with buying the Legend Pass, that is about it for these two seasons and this one big update. I'm especially looking forward to the new breakables object on the tracks and of course the new Norway track itself. But I'm very curious to hear what you guys think about the new cars. How do you think the DEVEL 16 will be balanced? I mean, will it just be too OP? I'm very curious to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you made it this far, comment what you ate for breakfast so I know you watched all the way and other people know you did as well. So anyway guys, I want to thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and I will catch you guys in the next one.